Last night, we had a double overtime game between the Rockets and the Spurs, but should it have been? By now, you've seen it. The very controversial play in the fourth quarter. James Harden steals the ball. Towel guy got to get out the way. That's how good the steal was. He dunks it, goes through the net, and then goes back on top of the hoop. So you see, this is my point before we get to yours. James Harden goes after the ball because he doesn't see what happened, and I think that's where the refs got confused.
So a few things. I applaud a guy like James Harden that's almost averaging 40 points per game. Mm-hmm. That we have footage of him getting a steal playing defense.
Oh, he gets steals. He just doesn't play
going
defense.
the other way and finishing. But I got a theory for this one. First off, the league is going to modify this. It's really progressive. They do a great job of updating their rules and their legislations when needed. And this is a blown call by the official. At the time, the Rockets were up 13 points.
Yep.
This one play is not the reason why they lost. However, just like you, played a lot of basketball and rec, parks, backyards, YMCAs, and even in the NBA. What do you think about this?
I love what you're about to say.
The nets were too long.
Nets too long. When you said that to me this morning, I was just like, you are the best. There's no one else that's saying, you know what? Nets are too long.
Nets are too long. Because think about it. You watch NBA basketball all of the time.
All day, all night.
You don't see people shooting from the side and the net getting caught.
Happens in pickup all the time.
Happens in pickup all the time.
Yep.
The net's too long. That's the adjustment, along with the rule change. As long as the refs can go back and say it was a 2 or a 3 after the play, they should be able to do it on a play like that.
You know what's not going to happen? A couple things I heard this morning. You know what's not going to happen? They're not going to replay the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
No.
That's insane.
No.
They're not going to give the Rockets a win.
No.
That's absolutely insane.
No.
That's not going to happen. I don't even know why that was even proposed. They're not going to go back. Do you know what happened? The Spurs won the game.
Who proposed that?
I read it on ESPN.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like, we're not going to go back. It's like, what's the league going to do now? Should they play the last 7 minutes, 50 seconds? Are you crazy? That's not how this works.
So it's human error. It happens.
Just like a missed foul call.
And I was watching the game, and I wasn't in such an uproar about it happening. The Rockets were playing well. They had the lead.
Yeah.
They were on the road. It was a missed call. It happens throughout the course of a game.
What do you think about the fact that D'Antoni said that he was not allowed to challenge because you have a 30-second window in which you can issue the challenge, and him arguing the call brought him outside of that window?
I just think that needs to get ironed out. And also, I think that was the refs penalizing him for complaining.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't have did.
He was mad.
So when you make a mistake, you just got to own it. And usually the officials do it, and therefore you got to allow the person to vent.
Yes.
When you go and see that the call was missed, you got to give him that grace period to do so. It was unfortunate at that time they didn't do so. It should have allowed Mike D'Antoni to challenge.
I feel like it's like football. If other game action happens, then we're done with that play. But if other game action hasn't happened, there's no ticking clock. If we haven't inmounted the ball and we're still arguing, you should be able to issue the challenge.
But in basketball, what makes it different is the play doesn't always stop after that down like in football.
Yeah.
So that's why if a player, like they do this all the time on three-point shots in particular, they'll give you a 2 or they'll give you a 3, and then when the play stops, they'll go back and look at it.
Yep. So James Harden had 50 points in this game. Russell Westbrook had a triple-double. Great games, right? That's exactly what you want from these two players. Triple-double from Russ, 50 from Harden. However, combined, they missed 50 shots. They had 50 attempts at a basket that missed. Jalen, at some point, do you think this inefficiency is going to catch up to them?
It works both ways. It's feast or famine. And they're playing toward the analytics. And I've said this so very often. They can't consistently win games in the playoffs being top 5 in three-point attempts, but yet lower 5 in percentage, lower 3rd in defense. That math just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
How about this? The NBA, Progressive League, instituted a shot clock around 1950. There's never been a player score 50 points in a game that was not as efficient as James Harden.
Ever.
That was the least efficient 50-point game.
You know what helps? 24
in
from
the
24
history
from
of
the
basketball.
line. That's what helps. 24 from 24 from the line.
Oh, by the way, I got another one for you.
Oh, what's that, Mr. Rose?
Russell Westbrook scored 19 points. Mm-hmm. He took 30 shots. You said they combined them as 50, right? Mm-hmm. Only once in the last 30 years has a player attempted 30 shots and did get 20 points.
You know who else had 19 points? Austin Rivers. You know how many shots he took? less than 10.
Clint Capella was 9 for 9.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I know Clint Capella's your guy. And every time we talk about the Rockets, you say, you know what they need? You know what they need? They need Clint Capella to produce. So this is what you've always wanted. 9 for 9 from Capella. Is this the player that you've always wanted to see?
Yes, but the game is always about balance. This is why I say analytics destroyed the game, because people now feel shooting 33% from the three equals a dunk or a layup. And it doesn't for anybody that's played basketball, because guess what you normally don't get on threes? Fouled. Guess what else you don't do? Slow down the game. Put the other team in foul trouble.
Long rebounds that lead to breaks the other way.
Get to set your defense because the team is taking the basketball out of the net. Those are things that aren't on a stat sheet. And so if you're able to feed Clint Capella around the basket, he got a nice little jump hook when you get him going. He's shown that he could be a finisher. I think when a guy's 9 for 9, and you said two other guys combined to miss 50 shots, okay, that balance is clearly off.
So something that's being overlooked from this whole dunk controversy and all the focus obviously on the Rockets is what's happening with the Spurs. Now, they got 19 points from Lonnie Walker in the fourth quarter. He played 35 minutes. Do you know what? I went to look it up. I was like, you know what? I haven't seen a lot of Lonnie Walker this year. He's not really in the rotation like that. He's had a bunch of games where he was under 10 minutes played. And listen, I would never question the genius of Greg Popovich. He's one of the best basketball minds on the planet. But do you expect to see more from Lonnie Walker as we get through the season?
Well, he did the typical rookie thing that you hate to have happen to you. He got in the doghouse early. The coaching staff, and Pop has come out and said this, basically felt like he wasn't giving the winning effort desired in order to get minutes. Murray got a contract this offseason.
Yep.
You understand what you're going to get from Patty Mills effort-wise. White was on Team USA this offseason. So they had a lot of guys playing minutes in the backcourt. And I kept saying, he can ball. He can ball. He can ball.
There's a reason you drafted him where you did.
So now all of a sudden, you put him in the fourth quarter, he erupts for 19 points, plays with emotion, you win the game. That's how you earn your minutes, young fella.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.